Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Best in Show Books. I'm Shelby.
I'm Jeanna.
And if you are looking for something to read on these cold, blustery, wintry days, you have stumbled on the right episode because that is what we are talking about today, winter reads. And if you like bookish videos, bookish TBR lists, etc., all things books, this is also a good channel for you to be on because every Friday at 9 a.m. we drop new videos. Today we have 6 books, 6 wintry vibe kind of feeling snowy books to talk about for you, perfect for these winter days. And Jeanna is going to kick us off with the first winter recommendation.
Yeah. And where else to think winter than Russia?
Yes.
I mean, it has to be winter all year round. I just know it does. So the first book is a historical fiction, and I read it a while back. It is The Last Grand Duchess by Brynn Turnbull.
So good.
Oh, it's so good. It is the Romanovs. So go back a bit. This history sucked me in, and I think I read like 4 books in a row on this Romanov history because I was like, this is so good. So this is a historical novel about Olga Romanov. She's one of the daughters of Nikolai, which I love the names. They're just so fun to say. Yeah. And so she was the daughter of the Tsar Nicholas II. And this is focusing on her coming of age during World War I. So it's the story of how, like, picking somebody to marry, the war coming to Russia, how the family dealt with that war. You get to see her become a nurse. And it's one of those books, you see the grandeur of the Romanovs and you see the grandeur of Russia during that time, all the money and all of that, but you also see the heart, I felt like, of the Romanov family and how they did care about their people, just didn't always know how to do it well. She was very likable. This was a sister that was not the head, like, which was the one that... Anastasia is the one that gets a lot of notoriety because the lady in the 50s that swore she was the Anastasia that was missing. So this is a Romanov sister that maybe you don't know a lot about. I didn't know a lot about. Honestly, I didn't know a lot about the Romanov family other than what I learned in the movie Anastasia. That was a cartoon, and it had
great
a song.
Cartoon though.
You know, hey, why not, right? The harsh realities of the front lines of World War I are there. How, as a nurse, she deals with being a princess, basically, and a nurse. So how she interacts with these soldiers, it's very heart-wrenching. So I enjoyed this. Did you read it too?
I did read it.
Thought you did.
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
And I think it does a really good job of portraying this older Romanov sister, Olga, and really breathing life into her as a person as she struggles with her position of royalty and also wanting to be useful beyond just like making, I don't remember what they make, but they talk about like sewing some small thing. And she's like, I want to do more than that. You know, I want to be a nurse and get in there.
I think it was her mom. Was a Tsarina.
Yes.
Which I love that. The Tsarina. She was sewing like bandages and things for the hospital. And she's like, no, we got to do more than that.
Yeah.
And so she jumps in with both feet and kind of like, I can do this, which is impressive. I mean, that she comes down off her throne literally and gets in the trenches. There's also, you get a little bit of Rasputin and his into the family, so it doesn't focus on that, but you do see that. You also see the son that has Alexei. And so you get a little bit of each of the other family members, but it really focuses on Olga and her journey as a young woman. So I appreciated that too. It was all about her.
And good nonfiction pairing. It's not really winter, but I guess, you know, it takes place in Russia. So if you want to assume it was snowy, then it probably was. The Last Days of the Romanovs is an older nonfiction book that pairs very well with this. I have read a lot of nonfiction books about the Romanovs, and that one was really good.
Would be a good one.
And I don't remember the author off the top of my head, but I will link, I'll put a little picture of the book because she has written several that were all very good.
We did the Romanov Brides as a historical fiction last year.
Yeah, that's right.
And it covers several of the girls and how they marry and how they interlink to England, because I think we forget that the 3 brothers were first cousins. I guess they weren't brothers. They were the 3 leaders of the major world powers during World War I and World War II. Were intermarrying for, you know, those treaties and all of that. So the Romanov Brides gives you a background of why they wanted each of these girls to marry who they did. First cousins, second cousins, weird,
Yeah.
creepy. But it was all about keeping power for countries.
and the
so,
bloodlines.
Yeah, the bloodlines. So I find this part of history very fascinating and not something I knew a lot about until this book. So we've been in Russia for this winter adventure. Where are we going next? Not to Russia?
No. My next winter pick is actually called The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. Takes place in America, Vermont. So
very
not
wintry.
Russia. Yes, very wintry. And this, let me tell you, this was like one of my favorite books for a very, very long time. I read it so long ago. And my husband just read one of her books and he didn't really like it. I think he said it was a little literary for him. So, and then I just saw somebody on my Goodreads, Dawn, if you're watching this, I think like DNF'd it, this book. So it won't be for everybody.
Okay.
Maybe I'm mistaken, Dawn, and you did not, but I thought I did. So anyways, The Winter People, it starts, Jennifer McMahon's stories are almost always dual timeline stories, which I love. And lots of them have a component of letters that are discovered or a written diary or something like that. And in this one, it is a diary. So there's a woman, Sarah Harrison Shea. It's quite a mouthful.
That's a
Sarah
name.
Harrison Shea. A lot of the same letters.
Yeah.
In 1908, she is found dead in the field, like at the back of her house. And this town has a bunch of mysteries, legends, local folklore, things like that. So it's kind of already mysterious.
Yeah.
She is found dead just a few months after her daughter has died. It's very tragic.
Okay.
And there are some kind of darker scenes in this book. Okay. And so that is the 1908 kind of story. And then it switches to present day. And in present day, of course, there's a link back to this. Someone is now living in a home and has found a diary belonging to Sarah Harrison Shea. So they are kind of uncovering clues as to what really happened back then with these disappearances and legends and things like that. It is very moody. It's very dark. It's very twisty, spooky. All of her books have a little bit of an element of supernatural, spooky-ish. I loved it. When I read it, I was like, I just thought it was great. And I do feel like it is a good book to curl up with on a cold day that's like real gloomy, you know? Yeah. And I think that the way she does her dual timelines it's very well done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of this one. I don't remember this one. So
it's older.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
And sounds really good.
She is a kind of a literary writer. So they're typically more slow burns. So you kind of have to like be in the mood for that. But I love The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. Highly recommend as a great winter read. So speaking of dark and spooky, Jeanna, what is your next recommendation?
I don't think anybody's going to be shocked at this, that there might be a vampire in it.
I wasn't.
It's called Nocturne, and it's by Syrie James. So this book I picked up at a library book sale a few years ago, and I guarantee it was the whole vampire-esque feel to the back of the book that made me pick this up. But it is set in Colorado in the mountains, and Nicole Whitcomb is driving through, and it's a snowstorm, and she's been told don't, but she has to get somewhere quickly, and she thinks she can do it because you know nobody else can, but I can do it. So she drives through the mountains, and the snowstorm hits, and an avalanche, and she's knocked from the road, and of course her car's stuck. She's injured. She's got a head injury, and she thinks she's going to die in this cold. And then along comes a very handsome stranger and rescues her, of course.
Pale, glittery skin?
Well, yeah. And he's kind of dreamy and a little exotic and just quiet, but yet he takes her to his house in the mountains that nobody else can get to, right? And he's protecting her, keeping her safe from the storm, which is knocked out electricity. But of course, he has, you know, the only power around, no phone. He's got food and it's warm. And there's a connection because he's cute.
A romantic connection.
It's a romantic connection. And they start to get to know each other. And of course, there's some tension that builds and maybe some romance that happens. It's been a minute since I read it, so I can't remember how closed or open the door is. I don't remember it being like wide open because that's not typically my book. And I remember liking this book a lot. And I remember really liking the character. It's Michael, I think is his name.
Yeah, that's not a vampire name.
I know, right?
Michael
Tyler.
Tyler.
And she doesn't get why he's so different for a long time, but then she finds his secret by accident, and it has an ending that is different. I will say the ending, when you get to it, you're like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna say it was a happy ending.
Okay.
But it wasn't
right.
necessarily, yeah, it has an ending, and you're like, oh. But it's a fitting ending. It's probably a realistic ending. So I really enjoyed this book. I really liked her, and I remember looking up other books by her because I liked how well she wrote the book. So this is a wintry feel, trapped in a cabin. Come on, a cute vampire. You can't pass it up, right?
It sounds, I mean, how many books are there where people are driving and there's a car crash that, isn't it literally called The Crash by Freedom McFadden?
Yeah. Absolutely.
There's that one. You read that last year.
I did. And that was winter as well.
Yeah. Misery by Stephen King.
Yes.
Which we didn't include on the list because a lot of people already know. Also, did you read that?
I did.
I've never read
Stephen King. Which
that's good.
I really need to. Going to put that out there as my resolution issue.
Yeah, good. We should have mentioned that in the reading resolution.
We should have.
Misery and also The Shining, which is
I
don't like the movie, but the book was good and had a much different ending
and winter.
Yes, as you said.
Yeah. So lots of good books start with winter storms,
car crashes,
and this one just has a more romantic and
vampire.
Like it's, and there's a mystery to it, so it has all the things, and it's not very long. I remember it being a rather short book too, like wouldn't be a novella, but it was less than 300 pages. I think it was like 250 pages. If I remember right. I could not find it last night. I looked everywhere for my book,
but it exists.
It's somewhere out there, and you should have heard me because I was trying to remember the name of it. I knew the author, but I was talking to we call her the Lady in the Sphere. It's our little Alexa. Because when we say her name, she pops up. So we call her the Lady in the Sphere. And I remember telling her this whole story, and it comes out right up.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I do remember this well.
Technology.
Yeah. A little scary if you ask me, but.
We're going to take a break. We're going to take a break from the spooky. So this next one is called The Arctic Fury. Very wintry title. The Arctic Fury by Greer McAllister. And I love this book. Historical fiction. Historical fiction.
Okay.
Historical fiction, murder, mystery, courtroom, thriller.
All of it.
It was excellent. So it's in 1853. And the main character, her name is Virginia Reeve. And she is like an outdoorswoman trail guide. And she is summoned to this mysterious meeting with I don't want to give any details away, with like a benefactor who says, I want you to lead an expedition to the Arctic. I don't remember the exact place, but you get it up north. It was really cold. And an expedition has gone missing, the Franklin expedition, and the benefactor has some connection to that expedition. And so she's like, I want you to lead this group up there. But the group, to figure out what happened to them, obviously. Sorry. Turn that up. And this new group that she's going to lead is all women.
Oh, interesting.
In the 1850s.
Okay.
And so they all have their own strengths, and it's the story of this main character leading these women, assembling these women, and then going.
Okay.
And what happens while they're there. No details, okay?
Okay.
And then it jumps forward a few years, a year and a half later.
Oh, okay.
Back in Boston, Virginia is on trial for murder.
Ooh.
Because not all of the women return.
Oh.
It was so good. It was so good. I felt like it was a really unique story, and I feel like I gravitate to those. And so it was really well done.
Okay.
The characters were really well developed. I read this a long time ago, probably 5 years ago.
Oh.
Maybe longer.
Okay.
But it is still very vivid in my mind. Honestly, you would love it. She was a great character who could do a lot of things. She was put in a lot of really hard positions up there and had to make a lot of choices for survival, along with all these other women on the expedition. So that was The Arctic Fury by Greer McAllister, historical fiction. This is like the day of the trucks or something. I don't know if the audio is going to come through, but we have seen like 30 semis, I feel like. The Arctic Fury. Next, Jeanna. What is this your last one?
This is the last one.
Oh, okay,
Yeah. This is the
What's
last
your
one.
last winter pick?
It is the last winter pick for this episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure my winter picks at home are not done yet.
True, yeah.
All right. So this one is The Cold Dish by Craig Johnson. And it is a Longmire. There goes another truck. Gravel.
Yeah.
So this is... Sorry, I thought
another truck was coming.
So The Cold Dish by Craig Johnson. It is Longmire book 1. So years ago, we discovered the Longmire series on whatever channel it was, and then it got moved to Netflix, and we watched all of them. And then I got to meet Craig Johnson, the author of the Longmire. So I started reading his books. They are so good. And if you watch the show and haven't read the books, read the books, because they are different enough that I felt like I was in 2 different places.
Oh, that's good.
Like the movies or the TV show was really, really good. And I will never say it's not, even after reading, I think I've read 3 now. But the book is so good. He's a different character. Like I feel like the way he's described is even different than the way Robert, whatever his name was, played him in the show. Because my brain went blank on his last name. Sorry, Robert. So Cold Dish is Absaroka County, and it is in Wyoming. It is not a real place, which I did learn. It is based on several places to be like it's really there, but it's not a real place. So he is the sheriff, and he has been the sheriff for a couple of decades. And there is a situation, it's really close to the Cheyenne Reservation. And that is really important to all of the Longmire books, is they share borders with that. And so the police in the Cheyenne Nation have control over that, and the police outside have control, and they don't cross. Like you can't help. That's part of the story. Yeah, the jurisdiction. That is definitely part of all of the stories. So the Cheyenne Nation had this situation a few years before this dead body appears. And the young man that's found dead was involved in the situation where 3, I believe, young men in Absaroka were accused of raping a Cheyenne girl. But because of the jurisdiction boundary nonsense, the boys were given reduced sentences and time served and kind of let go. Very one of those topics in the town people take a very harsh stance one way or the other of whether that was treated fairly or not. Well, this young man ends up dead, and Sheriff Longmire has to put aside he deserved what he got and solve the murder and keep maybe these other boys from being murdered as revenge. And because that's what the assumption is when they find this one young man.
That it's all connected.
That it's all connected. There is some history of the Cheyenne Nation that's brought into this, some explanation of some weapons that are found in use, which I felt fascinating.
That would be interesting.
And so that sent me down a rabbit hole of finding this gun and seeing if it was real, which I thought was kind of cool. This area where they're at, it is in the winter. There is a snowstorm. They get caught out in the wide open world of Wyoming in a blinding snowstorm, which terrified me as I read this. I'm like, I don't know that I would have been able to. And I mean, these are people that are trained for this, and they still got lost, and they still had to deal with the snowstorms and trekking, and then injured. And so this is a slow moving book. It is the first one in the series. You can kind of tell it's the first one in the series. Like, it's slower. As you go through the series, they do pick up because you're now used to some of the characters. You got Henry Standing Bear, who owns the bar in town. It's his best friend. You have a young, because Sheriff Longmire is not young, we're going to be honest, but his lady friend and how she plays into the story. He has a daughter named Katie, which is really cool the way she spells it. It's Cady, I think.
Oh,
which after I heard
it's like
that,
on Mean Girls.
Yeah, I was like, this is a really cool way of spelling it. So I liked that too. Weird that I liked that, but I did. So this book sets up a lot of the characters for books coming, and his story comes in other books. Like, you unfold him a little bit.
So do you feel like you have to read the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. If you don't read the first one, I feel like you don't. Books 2 and 3, which is as far as I've gotten in the series, and there are lots in this series.
Yeah, it's long.
It's a long series, and he just released another one end of last year, I think. So these are still being written. It's not like this is a way old series and he's out of the game. And I think there's a new one coming, even.
Probably. Yeah.
And he very much said, as the author, that he likes this character and he likes these people. He has no intention of leaving them.
I like that.
Yeah. Like, this is he's comfortable with them, and I really enjoyed him as an author, by the way, too. He was a great speaker and very fun to hear the stories.
Oh, I bet.
I liked him. So Longmire is a great book, The Cold Dish, and yes, read the first one before you read the others. Mm-hmm. But if you do read it and you think it's a little slow, just know they pick up, and you can tell his writing improves from the first one. You know, a lot of authors, I feel that way, though.
Yeah, I feel like that happens just because, not that I could ever, like, making an assumption here.
Yeah.
But, like, they probably get more comfortable with the characters and the places and how they would talk and in their heads, you know, and so it probably translates on paper.
Yeah. And because I don't want to say he's an older author, but he's a
established
author. So I feel like you could read, again, I found it because of a TV show, and this is the second set of books that I found because of a TV show. That the first book I felt like was a little slower, but each book in all the series picks up. So I really liked Cold Dish by Craig Johnson. So I find it interesting that our winter reads have been across genres. Mm-hmm. So we've had some mystery and historical fiction and some horror or some paranormal. Where are we at now?
Well, our last one is horror.
Oh, okay.
And with you saying that, I feel like I could have added some like nonfiction in there. I should have done that.
Yeah, but you talked about the one from Russia, the Romanov one.
Romanov one. Yeah. And there's another one. Oh, the title is escaping me. I'll put it up on the screen. And it has to do with the Dyatlov Pass.
Oh.
And which I think goes in Russia. And it was like these people who were all out. I'm totally going to butcher this. It's like a mystery, adventure, science combo. Nonfiction. Very good. Unsolved mystery. Of people, like maybe did they go crazy, maybe not, what really happened. Oh. And the answer to what they think really happened is wild. Anyways, that's a little penny for your thoughts.
Okay.
But the actual book that I am like prepared to talk about is The Hunger by Alma Katsu.
Okay.
And she is a very interesting author. She has written spy thrillers, she has written horror, and several of my favorite books by her are historical horror. That's what I would call them. Yeah. And this one is about the Donner Party.
Oh.
Talk about a winter setting right there. So it is a historical horror take on the Donner Party, excuse me.
Okay.
But you have very well crafted characters who are going on this wagon train, and it starts early on, like when they're making their decision to go. And so you get little vignettes of these different people, and they all weave together through the Donner Party, which I'm sure we all know how that ends. But the ending, or not so much the ending, it puts a kind of supernatural spin on the Donner Party. Is one of the characters a witch? Are they cursed? Are things happening because of this person? And then there's even another supernatural aspect to it that when I read it, I was like, what? And so I love to recommend this one in store to like the right people, you know, people who sometimes I can recommend it and people are like, okay, you know, and it's not for you, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But then other people will be like, whoa. So, you know, it won't be for everybody, but it is definitely a spooky winter different read that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. That sounds interesting.
Yeah. So The Hunger by Alma Katsu. And there's this one. She also wrote another one called The Deep, which I also enjoyed, another historical horror. You're a few penny for your thoughts. Because I don't want to give you too many details about The Hunger.
Okay.
So I'm going to fill up my little segment here with a few other quick recommendations.
That's okay.
The Deep, that was about the Lusitania and maybe like the Mauritania. No, it was about a woman who was on the Titanic and survived. And then she goes on maybe the Lusitania.
Oh.
So historical horror. Yeah, two doomed ships.
Bad juju for her.
Right. You know that. And right off the bat. And then she had another one that was called The Fervor. And that was about Japanese internment camps here in the United States during World War II. But this was my favorite of those. And then probably The Deep. Kind of for your thoughts.
So you were talking about maybe nonfiction. What's the Krakow?
John Krakauer.
Thank you.
Yes, Jeanna. Thank you. Okay, Into Thin Air, which is not new. It is old, and everyone watching this is probably like, I know. That was I read that maybe like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I was kind of late to the game on that. And I loved that. I mean, that read like a thriller. The story is horrifying of the deadliest season of like not hiking, but ascending like Mount Everest. And they made it into a movie.
Yeah.
But the book is way better. And I think John Krakauer is an excellent writer. It was very...
Everybody that comes in the store that has read that always says they enjoy it or
so good.
Liked it. I don't enjoy. It's kind of weird,
that's true.
But really liked his writing, liked the story. So, and I was thinking, I can see the cover. It's very wintry.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
very
that's
wintry
true.
cover. So as you said, we should have done more nonfiction. I was like, that would have been one to put in there.
Yes, yeah. And the story about how he got there, because he actually like went up Mount Everest. So the way he got that is, I'll just say this really briefly. How he got to that point was really interesting because he was approached by a magazine to write a piece, and he was a journalist, and they were like, just write a piece about like the base camp or something like that. And he said, well, I want to do it, you know? And so
No, thank you.
he was like, I will do this, but I want you to give me a year. And he like trained to be able to do that. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
There you go.
Into Thin Air. Good pull, Jeanna.
My brain works some days. I can't guarantee it every day, but it did today.
Sometimes today it's
Sometimes
working
it just
great.
Kicked in. Well, we really appreciate you guys taking this journey into winter reads with us. We would love to know if you've read any of these, have any winter reads of your own that you're reading and would like to recommend. Please drop us a line and let us know because our TBRs are not full enough and we know yours aren't either.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Best in Show Books. I'm Jeanna.
And I'm Shelby.
Have a fabulous winter read.